Yo, welcome back to Not Another Gaming Podcast. It is your boy, Papa Dom. We are back live and direct. We are just a couple weeks out from PAX East 2020, a couple months out from E3 2020, and we've already got some big shakeups. We got a jam-packed episode for you. Before we get into it, of course, got to introduce my wonderful, always pleasant, always handsome co-hosts. First up, you already know him. When he's not drinking booze or chuffing darts, he is keeping us up to date on all the esports and gaming news that you care about, and even some that you don't. The man who strikes fear into gaming desks everywhere, my man, Chris P. Why don't we have a party together, Daddy?
Daddy, I don't know. Chris P, also known as Jimmy Heaters. I mean, I remember that from the other night. You're like, yo, look what I have your name in my phone. I said, Chris, a.k.a. Jimmy Heaters, and I thought it was the best thing in the world, which it is. But I'm happy to be back. It's been a long time. It's been a whole week now. And if you're listening to this on the pre-recorded, happy Valentine's Day. If you need someone to be lonely with, we could be E-Lonely if you went to the Discord. We have it everywhere. So feel free to be E-Lonely with me because you know your boy's alone again this Valentine's Day. But I'm not alone tonight. I'm with Papa Dom and Dr. Bob. It's going to be a good night. But it's your boy. It's your boy, Chris P.
What's up, gamers? Today we're going to be crying alone in the hood. Let's do it.
In our bedrooms.
We're going to be crying in the shower. Let's do it. And, of course, my other co-host, you might catch him on Tuesdays streaming right here on twitch.tv/wickedgoodgaming for Booze Days with Dr. Bob, or newly back on those Twitter streets at WGG Burt, the Deacon of Decline Bench, the Pope of Premonitions. Dr. Bob, what's up?
Wow. I'm putting those. Excuse me while I change my fucking Twitter bio real quick.
Super producer for a reason.
Throw some new fucking titles in there.
You know what I'm saying?
Holy shit! All right,
Keep
wow.
on the toes.
Yeah, I'm doing good. I am currently on my 7th. So out of the past 9 work days in the past 2 weeks, I have stayed late 7 out of those days. Today was one of them, and I took tomorrow off to celebrate. And I'm gonna fucking drink myself into oblivion tonight.
Yep.
Treat yourself.
Yeah,
go off, King.
I'm just fucking exhausted, the usual. Fucking exhausted from work. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys. So my coworker that was assisting me with research left to go work at another hospital full time. So I've now taken on the full research responsibilities. This is why my job is so stressful right now.
I'll pray for you tonight. I'll pray for you.
I haven't gotten a raise, so this is nice. These are nice things. I'm having 2 great weeks back to back. This is good.
You should just quit.
Work for me. Okay. Work for me.
You're fucking saying it like I haven't been looking at other places.
I mean, listen. I know you haven't gotten a raise, but we're going to raise everybody's spirits. It's Valentine's Day if you're listening to the pre-recorded joint. It's Valentine's Day Eve. For those of you who just like getting ready, it's like, I'm going to like just put the shades down now, bust the Pinot open, maybe sob a little bit on the couch solo. So if you're doing that already, thank you for rocking with us. We really appreciate you. 167 episodes deep. Really quick, I just want to say, I'm sure that we're gonna acknowledge this towards the end again, but I did want to acknowledge that we have officially crossed 60,000 downloads for Not Another Gaming Podcast. It has been an absolutely monumental ride so far. We're in over 60 countries, 60,000 downloads and counting. So you, if you're listening to this right now, are a part of that. So thank you very much. We're really, really happy about it. Do you guys have any particular like favorite moments or any thoughts on 60K?
So I'm going to say personally, I sound like, first of all, the whole podcast as a whole, right? When we first started, it was like we were talking into Dixie Cup. The Dixie Cups, the production was terrible. Nothing against you, but it was just like we were recording over Skype. We didn't really know our footing yet.
It was also really, we just had bad equipment, and we were so fresh, and we didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah, we were recording off webcams, like audio-wise. But we've come a significant way. Like I tried to listen to episode 1 through like 20, just kind of like bouncing around. And what we have now compared to what we had back then, it's incredible. So props to you guys, props to all of us, props to everyone that listens. Because not for nothing, it's not easy first starting because there's not many people there. But out of what we started and what has come out of it, we've met some sick people. We've made some really good connections, and it's just been a fucking blast. And we're not done. by any means. We're not done.
So I have a question. So the last time we had like a momentous occasion come towards our way, or I think it was like episode 100. We were talking about what was our favorite episode in the past, and if we've seen if has that changed for you guys? Because I
Ooh.
distinctly remember my favorite episode of all time is Don't Tell Meredith, and that's always going to be my favorite fucking episode. Nothing is ever going to fucking change that, because Don't Tell Meredith is the best fucking episode we've ever had.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's like a top 3 easy for me.
So I won't spoil anything for anybody, because if you haven't listened to it, please go back and listen to it. It is, the audio quality might be shit because it was way back in the day when I was living in Chicago, and this was like 2.5 years ago. But I was living in Chicago. I was supposed to go out on a date with this girl. Her name is Meredith. Out of fucking nowhere, she's like, "Oh, I can't go out anymore. Don't worry about it. We'll hang out next week." And I was like, "All right, cool, whatever." Next week comes around. I was like, "Hey, you want to grab that drink?" No, I can't. One more week goes by, and she ignores me. And I was like, "All right, fuck it. Like, I guess she doesn't want to hang out anymore." She follows me on Instagram, starts liking all of my shit, hits me back up. "Hey, I fucked up. We should go get a drink." And I was like, "Okay, like, let me know when." She snapped, just immediately snapped. And she was like, "You know what? Never mind. I'm getting back with my ex." And I was like, "I don't even fucking know you. Why are you doing this to me right now? What the fuck is happening?"
Yeah, I don't care, Meredith.
But yeah, that was a scenario.
It was. I think when we started the podcast, too, if we're being blunt, I knew shit about video games and like anything. I was just kind of like deflecting everything. I think kind of in the 167 episodes, I've definitely found my footing, which is good because no one wants someone that doesn't know what they're talking about. But I think that kind of like fed into it. It was like, all right, like this kid just likes video games, but doesn't know shit about them. And it just kind of leveled.
I mean, and now both video games that you know about, I mean, just really
you have all 2 of those video games locked down right now.
You know what I mean?
I know. I'm like the back
gang's
of my
all
hand.
here. The gang's all here, dude.
That's right.
But no, I we have come a long way. I mean, favorite episode for me, I mean, Don't Tell Meredith is definitely an all-timer. I'm a big fan of the Ben Broads interview, just because that was like probably one of the biggest interviews we had, and honestly, the most recent one that comes to mind as a big favorite is when we had Grease from Jedi Fallen Order on here. I think that was, I mean, just huge. I mean, it was a great interview, and we got like a nice little like celebrity shout out. So that was really cool. Daniel Roebuck was a cool ass guy, and that was an awesome interview as well. But yeah, I mean, we've had so many cool ones. I mean, we've had some great guests. We've had some guests that have like done like weird shit in the background, like when they were on the show. We've had lots of stuff that we've had to cut out. But yeah, I mean, 60K is no small feat. There's a lot of people who haven't cracked that, who have lots more episodes than us. And we've just been kind of grinding away. So we really do appreciate all the support. All right, why don't we get right into it? Let's do a quick little weekend recap.
Damn, son, where'd you find this? We lit!
Also, really quick, Steve, that's not very nice. I compliment your guitar skills all the time, and my Photoshop skills are dope. Just because, and also you got a hoodie coming your way, and I didn't see you turn that down, so I don't know. I don't know. I didn't see you turning down any of those Photoshop skills when you were getting hoodies. So I don't know.
Wow.
Oh, he meant me. Oh, hold on. My Photoshop skills, bro.
I feel like a innocent bystander now. I mean, I feel like G Baby and Hardball right now, and now I'm gonna go cry. I know. Very obvious about. I don't know. I'm hurt. I want a hug. Okay, Chris, how was your weekend?
My weekend was good. I didn't leave the house, really. I think I got dinner on Saturday. The scariest thing happened to me on Saturday night. No lie. So I probably took like 20 claws for a ride. I was just sending it on my couch. And we had a nice like chill FaceTime with like Steve and Jess, and like she was FaceTiming people that she like lives in California. It was fun. It was a good time. But I was wrecked. So I go to bed. It's probably like, I don't know, 2 a.m. And out of nowhere at like 3:30, my Alexa, I don't want to say it because it'll turn on, out of nowhere at like 3:30 started blasting rock music. And it's not a song in my phone. So I wake up all disheveled and I'm like, what is going on right now? So I go, ALEXA, stop. And it shut off. I went back to bed, woke up, still not all there, very disoriented. And I go, that didn't happen. I must have dreamt it, or maybe I talked into my phone. I looked, no previous recordings of me saying anything to the device. And then I went over to it. I was just like, oh God, like, here it is. I was like, ALEXA, play. And it started playing the same song. So I was scared. I go, I don't know what the hell's going on. This ghost, whatever it is. I looked at my phone. I was like, your Spotify account has been hacked from Germany. And I was like, oh, great. Like, okay, at least I know what it is. 20 seconds ago, I just looked at my phone. I just got an email. My account just got hacked again. So music starts playing.
Dude, that happened to me before too. That happened to me. This was this is like a year ago at this point. I was just lying in bed and I was scrolling through Instagram and I saw someone post like this Australian punk band and they looked hilarious. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go listen to one of their songs. And I opened my Spotify and it had like a Jason Derulo playlist going down. And I was like, all right, I haven't listened to Jason Derulo since fucking high school. This isn't me. What the fuck's going on? And I kept pressing the fucking the band I wanted to listen to, and they're like a super obnoxious punk band from Australia. And it just kept going back and forth. The people that hacked my account kept going back to the Jason Derulo playlist while I had it open.
I mean, I don't blame him. Derulo has nothing but hits. I don't think he's ever put out a bad song. The thing with mine is, honestly, if I got an email, they knew my email, right? Because they hacked into like my username, which you can find my email. If they emailed me, they're like, dude, funds are really low right now. I hacked your account. Could I please just use it from like midnight to 6 a.m.? I would have been like, hell yeah. But they wanted to scam me at 3:30.
That's what it was. That was like the time zone that the Spotify contact, because I got out of bed. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I contacted Spotify, and they're like, yeah, this is actually kind of common. It happens all the time. And it's like, maybe you should warn your fucking customers that this is a thing that happens.
It's probably not a good answer. Yeah, that happens all the time. That's probably not
during this time frame.
Yeah. All in all, good weekend. Got the shit scared out of me. But Bob, how was your weekend, homeboy?
I didn't do anything again this weekend. Like I said, I've been working super late recently because I picked up a shit ton of more responsibilities, and I just have more shit I have to do at work. So I'm getting in early and I'm leaving super fucking late. So I got home at like 7:30 on Friday, and I was like, fuck this. Fuck it, I'm done. Putting the phone on silent. I'm gonna sit here, I'm gonna play video games. Turns out I'm gonna give props real quick. We're not at Land the Train yet. But I'm going to give props real quick. Capcom finally fixed the issue with the save files for Monster Hunter World. Wow. So my buddy P hit me up and he was like, hey, breaking news, they fixed it. Sirens were going off in the background. I didn't know what to do. I dropped everything. I started it back up, and boom, Monster Hunter World was waiting there for me. I had my character back. I had WGG Dr. Bob back with my Palico, my little cat, Carl. He was there too. I had all 130 hours back. I had all of my gear back, and I was able to play Iceborne. And that game is fucking great. And speaking of games, Chris, did you play any games? Just throw it in here after. Just throw it in now, actually.
Yeah, I've actually been playing Apex Legends Season 4. It's been fun. Why ask me not for nothing, dickhead. Any game I would have just said, I would have got, because it's either Call of Duty or Apex.
Well, yeah, you would have got it for either one of those.
I'm going to chime in about Call of Duty in a little bit. We'll get through the weekend recap first, but I've been playing Apex Legends Season 4. I don't like the map, but all in all, it's been kind of fun because people are starting to play again. Back to you, sir.
So I played, finally got around to playing Monster Hunter World Iceborne. Absolutely fucking incredible. That expansion is incredible. It introduces so many more monsters. It introduces the master rank that's above the high rank that, I capped out at in the main game.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, whatever. But the game is fucking incredible. It introduces a bunch of new mechanics, a brand new location, new monsters to hunt, new gear, new weapons. Everything's fucking awesome in that game. I'm a month behind, so I'm literally like 80 hours behind my friends. But I'll get there eventually. It's not a slog. It's not as much of a slog as the main campaign is, like the main portion of the game, but it's very good. I've been playing more Counter-Strike recently. That's a game I can't kick. And then there's another game that I tested over the weekend. I think the embargo lifted yesterday, but I'm not going to say it anyway. It's a Dark Souls clone. It's okay. That's all I'll say for now. I'm going to meet with them at PAX. So
Cliffhanger ending.
Yeah, I'll talk about it next week. I got to double check the embargo date. I think it was the 11th, but
keep flexing that embargo. Just keep saying
there's an embargo date, guys. Did I tell you that?
I wish I could say. I honestly, I would love to hear about it, but you can't say because there's an embargo on it.
There's an embargo on it. I can't talk about it. And then I, for the first time, finally got around to playing Resident Evil 2, and that game is fucking terrifying. And I love it, and it's stressful, and it's an anxiety-inducing, and I just got to the part where Mr. X comes out, and he lifts up the fucking helicopter, and I ran back to the safe room, and I saved, and I put my controller back down, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to come back to this next week.
That's about enough of that. That's about enough of that.
And that's where I've left off, okay? Like, that game, it's so good, but it's like the tension in that game and the environment and the atmosphere, it's like a constant pressure being put on your shoulders the whole time. And then you hear, like, you're going down a hall, and you'll hear a zombie just bang on the fucking window, and I fucking throw my headphones, and I gotta pause the game. I'm like, all right, you know what? I need to palate cleanse, and I'll watch a fucking video on YouTube or some shit. Dude,
I gotta wait for the sun to come back out.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so fucking good. I can't wait to finish it. You know, in like a year and a half when I can finally muster it up.
I really do be like that. Dom, how was your weekend?
You know, not bad, boys, not bad. It was a pretty low key weekend. We hung out with some friends like at home for I think Sunday night. Saturday we didn't do much, just spent some time together. Thanks Jay for the 4-month sub. Big fan of you. Friday night, the wife actually treated me to dinner. A real queen. Took me out for a nice fancy steak dinner because your boy locked down a new 9-to-5 last week. So real happy about that. It's a very large raise, and it's definitely a game changer in a lot of different ways. So locked down a new 9-to-5, which means lots of other things can happen in our lives now, and I'm looking forward to breaking into an illustrious club this year. So feeling good about it, and to celebrate, Lauren took me out for a very nice steak dinner. Had myself a nice 100-day dry-aged prime ribeye, and it was just the greatest cut of meat that I've ever had in my entire life. So big fan. So yeah, good weekend. As far as what I've been playing a lot of Pokemon Shield. Just doing like the end game stuff in that's been pretty good, and have also been playing Elder Scrolls Online, just catching up with stuff like that. I'm really looking forward to some other games coming out this year. I mean, I feel like there's not a whole lot on my plate at the moment, but mainly I'm kind of getting prepped for the new ESO expansion because the first like chapter is coming out in just a couple weeks. So really looking forward to that. But yeah. So, all right, let's and thank you for all the congrats in the chat. I really appreciate you guys. Thanks a lot. It's definitely a game changer. So I'm really looking forward to it. All right, so let's get right into it. Bob, I'm gonna let you go first because I want to hear what you think about this. So there was this interesting rating that was applied to a game that we've talked about a handful of times. And if you're not familiar with the way this podcast goes, Bob has some thoughts on this. Bob, what's going on? What could we possibly be talking about?
Not only do I have thoughts, but I have predictions that tend to come true every single time. It's crazy. It's almost like I'm Zoltan Bob, and I can see into the future, I can call what the game industry trends are going to be, even when it comes to the beloved Nintendo. So we're talking about Animal Crossing, Animal Kingdom, Animal Planet, New Horizons. Is that what it's called? I don't remember.
Yeah, Animal Crossing, New Horizons, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the game.
What is it? Wait, what is it? What'd you call it?
Animal Planet.
No, you said that's the what?
That's what we're talking about.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, you said that's the game, so it's a game. Animal Crossing New Horizons is a game. Yeah. Oh, interesting. Okay. All right, keep going though. Keep going.
Yeah, so that's what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
That's the piece of entertainment that we're talking about. So we've had in-depth discussions about this. Everybody likes to get me riled up because my personal opinion is I don't find it entertaining. I understand why some people find it entertaining. It just doesn't do it for me. So I don't think it has, proper game mechanics to be considered a game. I think it's a simulation, and there's plenty of sim environment stuff going on already, but I don't consider it a game. Okay? I predicted, I think it was a couple of months back, I think the game got announced. I think it was in the wake of Super Mario Kart Tour on mobile and Animal Crossing Pocket Camp on mobile, where they just threw out a bunch of egregious microtransactions. And in one of these wild fits of everybody talking about Animal Crossing and trying to get me upset, I said, hey, just wait. When the game comes out, I'm sure they're going to find a way to implement some form of in-game purchases, whether that be microtransactions or, so on. And I know Dom wants to talk about it, and I don't want to get too deep into it, but there are plenty of possibilities when it comes to in-game purchases. The ESRB dropped the rating or leaked the rating in, I think it was the UK, and I think it was E10 or something like that for comic mischief and then in-game purchases.
It just came out. It was just released. I don't think it leaked. Oh. It just came out. It was just on the page.
Whatever. So what everybody's been talking about is the in-game purchase title underneath. Half of the people I shouldn't say half. I'd say the vast majority of people are saying it's more than likely just an expansion pack, maybe DLC. Maybe they need to throw it in because they'll give you an option to buy Nintendo Online with it. I'm going to go ahead and say that's 99% of what it might be. I'm pretty convinced that that's what it should or will be. But there's always that possibility that they have the egregious in-game microtransactions where you're paying $8 for a new fucking hat.
So let me put this all into perspective here, because I think Bob is reiterating this a lot more softly than he has been in the last couple of weeks. We are walking this nice and softly. Hold on, because
I like to rile everybody up because I get it every single time you guys bring it up. I'll sit here. I'll listen to everybody.
You get yourself riled up. You go,
"Oh, I'm gonna fucking idiot, Bob. You're a fucking idiot," and then I play along with it. I'll preface all of this with I don't care enough about this game. There it is. You can clip that game. I don't care enough about this game to actually be upset. I personally wish the game comes out and the people that want to enjoy it. That's how I am. I don't care what people play.
I have never seen a tune change so fast.
What a showman!
When Chris posted this blog, Chris, you're gonna catch a stray here, completely jumps the gun and writes the title of his blog. Animal Crossing has microtransactions. You jump the gun. You're catching this stray here, but don't worry.
Oh God, please don't do this to me.
But Animal Crossing microtransactions confirmed. Complete gun jump.
It's fine.
And Bob immediately responds with the, I told you so. I told you they were going to have egregious microtransactions. I told you Nintendo was going to do this. Don't be mad at me. Be mad at Nintendo. I called it.
Yeah, be mad at Nintendo. They're the ones I didn't implement it.
But you know what? Papa had a little time on his hands today. So
let him know.
Hold on a second. Let me just hold on.
Oh crap!
Hold on a second. Papa had a little time on his hands today, and I did a little research. Bob was saying Bob was convinced that this is like, I told you from the jump they're gonna have microtransactions. I told you from the jump. And if you don't believe me, yes, you did. If you said if you don't,
the jump. Hold on, no, time out.
I called it.
Find those fucking texts because that's not true.
No, you said run back the VODs, and I did. So I went back to every episode that we've ever talked about Nintendo or Animal Crossing. You said if you want to prove me wrong, then go run back the VODs, and I did. So
you need a hobby. Holy shit.
No, I'm. Just wait. I'm not done. So, so September 2018, New Horizons gets announced. Nothing really picks up until about a year later. or not about a year later, about 6 months later, when Bob first says Animal Crossing is not a game. That's episode 116. Animal Crossing is not a game. So since then, skimmed some topics, and there's about 10-ish episodes that we mention something Nintendo or Animal Crossing related. Big gap. When there's not a lot of Nintendo news. The next Animal Crossing episode is episode 144, where Seth David comes on, because that was the Nintendo Direct that was all about Animal Crossing. Bob says it's not a game again. He rips under the shirt. We talked to Brian Shea on episode 145, and we talked about Bob's dog shitting on his bedroom floor. And then we talked about Animal Crossing again on September 20th when Violet came on, which was, if you were an animal in Animal Crossing, what would you be? So we go through 147, Bob rips another shirt, because we talk about, because we asked him Animal Crossing related questions during Zoltan Bob's Guess My Game. If you haven't listened to episode 147, that's an all-timer, just to jump back on that question. 161, there's Animal Crossing New Leaf talk, Animal Crossing New Horizons talk. We invited Bob to come fishing with us, and he said no. I'm still sad. Episode 162 is probably the one that you're talking about, because we did talk about Pocket Camp, and you said it was 95% microtransactions, which it is, and we discussed after-the-fact DLC for Pokemon Sword and Shield. And you said if I invested...
Which I said I'm not opposed to.
Correct. You said if I invested 60 hours in a game, of course I'm going to want to spend more money on it if there's more to play. We talked about broken DLCs, cash grabs. We talked about Pocket Camp. Nothing about expansions, and hesitant. You said you were hesitant about Nintendo's DLC practices because of the mobile shit that they pulled in 2019. There is no podcast discussion about you saying that there was going to be microtransactions one way or the other in Animal Crossing New Horizons. There's nothing. But I am willing to extend an olive branch to put some skin in the game and let you make this right, because you didn't call it, but you can. You have a chance to be on the right side of history, and I am willing to.
Well, if I didn't call it on the podcast, it was called. It might have been in Discord. It might have been on something else.
You said run back the VODs, and I did my due diligence. It was never on the podcast. Our audience.
Good job. I think you should focus more on your new job.
Hey, don't deflect.
This is no. Let's not deflect. Let's not deflect, because this is the content.
God.
This is the content. I'm not even close to being done. So I'm going to give you a chance to be on the right side of history, Bob. Zoltan Bob, this is my bet to you. Okay, since you never called this on the podcast, absolutely. Look at Kenny's bird deflecting. Absolutely pathetic. You have
Bob soft as shit. Someone just wrote.
Let me just this red is hitting though. So I'm going to give you an opportunity, and if Animal Crossing does have microtransactions, this is an opportunity for me to eat it too. And I say eating because what I happen to have here is this little bottle of the Last Dab XXX, which is a very hot sauce. It has about the consistency of like spicy brown mustard. You can see that right there. It looks like peanut butter.
It looks like fucking vomit. It looks like diarrhea.
So my proposed wager is, and I'm willing to. I literally think I just inhaled like a little chip of it. I'm not even lying. My proposed wager is that if Animal Crossing, so we have the in-game purchases tab. I said in my blog that I'm convinced that it's probably going to be DLC. Like when Nintendo releases a new game, let's say it's Breath of the Wild 2, we get like a furniture and item pack or something like that. So if Animal Crossing New Horizons has microtransactions that you can purchase, let's say you purchase a chair for $4, which is like one of the examples that you used, to purchase a single item for money, or if they have a premium currency that you can use, not a DLC pack, but a like $1 for item or $1 for premium currency. If they have that, if that is included in the game, I will eat a chicken wing coated with this sauce and do an episode of the podcast. And if they don't, then you have to do it before an episode of the podcast.
Yeah, there it is.
So that's it. You see it. This is as good as.
Wait. Hold on. Can I make one stipulation to this? However,
yes.
We have to give the game a grace period after release to see if they add in the microtransaction, the in-game currency afterwards.
So
say at release there is no in-game currency and I have to eat the wing. If 3 months later they put in-game currency in, you also have to eat the wing.
I think Chris should eat the wing if they add it later.
What do you mean? And I'm the one.
I'll eat it. No, I'll eat it. I'll eat it.
I'm the one.
No, I'll eat it.
What do you
I'll eat
mean?
it. Because it's not outside of the terms of the original thing. What I wrote down was the loser has to eat a last dab wing on air before we do an episode. Episode 173, which would be on March 26th if we did it on a Thursday, is the first episode after New Horizons releases. So
Yeah,
if
that's fine. That's fine. And my stipulation is, if like we've seen with companies recently like Activision and EA, where they release a game and they say that it's not going to be, there will be no microtransactions, there will be no loot boxes, and yet 3 months later they release both microtransactions and loot boxes and in-game currency.
Yes,
that's my stipulation.
Yes, because that's even worse. Because if that's even worse, if they say that they are adding like a real, and again, this isn't like a pack of furniture. This is like you can pay $4 for this froggy chair, or you. So
should we put a money like a money limit on it, like under $8 we'll consider micro?
I would say anything that's like a 1-for-1, like, so if there's premium currency at all, like
that I completely agree.
Premium currency is like it'll be like diamond bells or some fucking dumb shit like that. If there's premium currency that you can buy with real money at all, or if there is like a dollar for item thing. So like not if it's like a pack, if it's like a furniture pack or something like that, because like The Sims does that, and yeah, that's like the equivalent of getting, I don't know, a pack of new fighters in Smash Brothers. So I would say anything under, I mean, I don't know, because I would say it's just a 1-for-1. Like if you can use a microtransaction to purchase let's say an out of season furniture item. So like usually you can only buy like the snowman shit if it's in the wintertime. And since they're not doing cloud saves and they don't want anybody to like hack the game to get furniture out of season, that's the only reality in which I can see them. So I would say a 1-for-1 thing. Loot boxes rocking. I don't think they're gonna have loot boxes either. But
I don't think they'll have loot boxes.
I think that is even
okay. We say that, and it's still yet a fucking possibility.
If they have loot boxes, I'll fucking drink a bottle of Everclear on stream. So I
don't even want you to do that.
I don't want to do that either.
I'm looking out for you now. I don't want you to do that.
So that's my bet.
I don't agree to that either. I don't agree to the
That is my bet. Is a $1 for item like this, like a red dot site that's 10 cents or something like that. If it's like a single item for money or premium currency, if that actually is implemented into the game, I will actually be too overcome with shame with Nintendo to even feel the heat from that wing. But if not, and if your prediction is wrong, then you have to eat it.
Sure.
Okay.
So, good job on your due diligence going through all of those fucking episodes of the podcast.
I do it for the brand.
When you told me I had to do it, there was no fucking chance that was happening.
Bro, I think we know why now, because there was no proof.
We know.
I was at work for 10 fucking hours today. I'm not staying at work for fucking 12 because I have to go dig through 15 episodes of the podcast.
The night shift, bro.
Yeah,
right.
Listen, I like I said, I had some time today. So I'm doing it for the brand.
I wonder if there's a way you could like Control F in the Discord chat to see if I could Control F.
I did, and you didn't say it there either.
How do you do that?
You can do it. You can actually say messages from, and it was WGG Dr. Bob, and I looked up microtransaction, MTX, microtransaction spaced, Animal Crossing. It was just I told you there's going to be microtransactions. That was it. And then you also talked about, I think, Pocket Camps microtransactions, but that was it. But yeah, I checked there too. Don't worry.
My man has senioritis hard right now.
Jesus Christ!
I gave my 2 weeks, dude. I don't give a shit.
Your boss just walks by your desk and you're sitting there fucking feverishly typing through Discord.
I'm gonna show him.
Enhance. But yeah, no, I skipped through, and I mean, hey, a good positive side effect of this is I got to relive some classic episodes of the number one gaming podcast out there. So, so yeah, there you go, there you have it. So this is the bet, is because I'm gonna write this down now. The loser has to eat a last dab XXX wing on air before we do the episode on 326, which is episode 173, but if and I'm gonna write this down right now, but if
Could we, is there any way we could record it on the Friday, 3/27, so I don't have to go to work the next? So neither one of us might have to not go to work the next day and shit blood.
I'm not worried about it. I think that's part of the.
I would rather shit blood in the sanctity of my own home.
Can I throw a little caveat on it too? The person, and I know I'm just the bystander, just watching this all unfold, but I think the person that eats the wing should also be the host of the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. No, it's got to happen. It's got to happen that night, but only because we've released all 167 episodes the same exact time. So,
right. And I want to throw one more caveat in there.
I don't know. I don't know if I'll allow it. Let's hear it though.
Chris has to eat the wing regardless.
Erroneous.
Erroneous. He has to eat one wing.
Honestly, I will. That's fine. I'll do it. But how are we gonna do it if we're like?
Write it down.
What am I gonna put it on the wing and save it?
No, I'll fucking cook the wings and
no, we'll just go do it live.
Mail it to you.
Go do it we could just go fucking record it.
Oh, we can do that too. Yeah, let's just do that. We can record it live. Right. I'll make wings in the air fryer. I'll make some like good ones. We can keep some ice cream for Bob. I'll get 2 cartons, one to like
I'm
eat.
lactose intolerant, you piece of shit.
You can
what a day you're gonna have.
My Saturday is gonna be a fucking nightmare.
So there you have it. There you have it. Dr. Bob has agreed that if his prediction does not come true and that Animal Crossing does not have a premium currency or an item for $1, like a single item for $1 microtransaction component, that he is eating one of the hottest wings that is commercially available with over, let's see, they said there was about 1 trillion Scoville units or something in here.
What is this, the newest one they just released?
Yes, this is the newest one. It's actually pretty tasty. I have had this already.
Doesn't Tabasco have like 1,000 Scovilles?
Yeah. Like a jalapeno has like 1,000, and this has like like 1 trillion.
I will say I have had a ghost pepper in Montreal before. I had a ghost pepper wing, and my throat was numb for 20 minutes.
Yeah. But the thing with ghost pepper is it tastes good. It's hot.
It didn't taste good
at
all.
I've had like ghost pepper chips. They're spicy as balls. Don't get me wrong, but it has like a good taste to it. With those hot sauces, which, well, I'm not gonna say it, but like one of those sauces that we'll end up having when we do one of those videos, it literally tastes like chemicals. Like it's trying to kill you.
Whatever.
Yeah, the bomb tastes like this one actually does taste good. There's like you can taste there's supposed to be notes of let's see, there was like peach, chocolate, and something else. And it's actually, like, the first 5.5 seconds, it's like, ooh, that's got a nice little... And then it's just, you're in hell. So...
Dom, can you give a free ad right now to Sean Evans?
Yeah, free ad. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Sean Evans, and you're watching Hot Ones. Yeah, free ad to the hoodie god, Sean Evans. If you ever want some podcast hosting tips, holla at your boy.
Maybe that Friday.
I'm cool with it.
Maybe that Friday we just drop the fucking episode, or we do a live episode on that Friday that we release for the following week.
We could do that.
Yeah, we could do that too. That's fine. We could do like we'll do it one way or the other, but either way, yeah. Okay, cool.
Just so if I do lose, I don't have to go sit at my desk at work and literally fucking shake.
Yeah. It's bad.
Violently.
The next day, like, feelings are bad. Great. Yeah, all right. So I'm glad that we could hammer this out.
Can I ask you one question though?
You can.
Do you truly believe I didn't ever say that? Do you not recall me ever saying that?
I didn't recall you saying it. I believe that is a thing that you think, and I'm not surprised that you think that, because you have plenty of reason to, because of like what you said in episode 162 is like they had a shitty track record for mobile games, but like we were talking about their good track record for actual DLC packs. So I did not recall you saying it. So I was like, what did you call? Because you had said I called it. So I said, what did you say? So that's why I went back and looked. So I believe that is a thing that you believe in your heart of hearts to be true.
Oh, I definitely believe it. Yeah.
I know you believe it. I know you do. And you might have even said it out loud to somebody else. Who knows? But
maybe
This is where we're at. This is where we're at now. So, that is it. That's what we got. And now that we're like 40 minutes into the podcast, Chris, do you want to talk about something else?
Yeah, so I had my normal day on, I think it was Tuesday. Woke up, had my coffee, pulled up the old millennial newspaper, which is Twitter, and I saw a tweet that was going around. I'm not going to plug the guy's info just because I don't think he's like any notable person. He just had something to say about teabagging in esports. So his tweet was, really disappointed by the amount of teabagging that's going on in the Overwatch League this weekend. You'd never see that behavior in any other established sport. If esports wants to be taken seriously, decorum and professionalism should be a responsibility of the players. And then the guy went to go compare it to the UFC, saying that you would never see this happening in the UFC, started comparing it to traditional sports, but mainly stuck on the argument of the UFC. So it's kind of a general conversation on the whole thing. This guy thinks teabagging in esports should be reprimanded. You should be punished for it. And I mean, it should be a big time offense in esports.
Can I say one thing super quick?
Yeah, good.
Every single fighter that wins in the UFC has some form of fucking show. They put on a fucking show afterward. Like when Stylebender fucking kneed the guy's head in, he did a backflip and he put a Ash Ketchum hat on and threw a Pokeball down on the mat.
Yeah.
You're gonna tell me, that's the direct comparison you want to make with UFC if that's the case. And if that's the case, then those UFC fighters should be getting fined too. You can't make that comparison while completely overlooking everything that goes on in the ring after a match ends.
Yeah, I agree with that. And that's kind of the argument that came out of the whole thing, is how far is too far for these esports pros to be reprimanded for things that they do. I don't think that they should be able to get away with murder. I think if they speak poorly on the microphone, if they say the wrong things, any derogatory, racial, anything that's like out of line that makes people go like, oh, like he probably shouldn't have said that, that should be taken more seriously. You should be fined for that, and there should be repercussions for that. Teabagging, there's no better way. So there's a couple things we grew up knowing: death, taxes, and getting teabagged in Halo. That's what we grew up knowing.
Yeah.
But there's no other way to assert dominance, to command presence, than fragging out an enemy and dipping it low on them. It's what it is.
Dude, where is Big Tasty when you fucking need him? Because every time I Quake duel him, after I frag him, you got to drop the fucking sack on his head.
You have to. But that's video games. That existed before mankind. Teabagging people, like it came to the earth before humans.
Primates.
Primates. Yeah,
they were just walking around. Whenever they got into a fight, they bang, and then just drop on them.
Just fucking honey dipped them. And they've been doing that forever. So my thing is, I think esports pros should be reprimanded if they do step out of line, but you're not going to see an esports pro win a championship, win a game, win a match, step up and run into the crowd where an opposing team is playing and get in their face. Last thing you'll really see on an esports main stage is people getting up, screaming, and maybe the occasional like scuffle that isn't going anywhere. Teabagging someone in game is completely fine. I can't believe I'm reading this in 2020. There's a lot worse things to worry about than the Overwatch League pros teabagging one another in game. So how ridiculous is this to you guys? Dom, I'll let you take it first.
Yeah, I mean, I was just playing Master Chief Collection like last week, and people are teabagging all over the fucking place. I'm almost positive, and I could be misquoting, I'm almost positive it was Halo 3 or Reach. But Bungie had specifically worked on like upper body physics to make sure that if you teabagged somebody, their head would like go back a little bit, like as the impact was happening. It's real. It's 100% real. I know it's real. Teabagging still happens. I know in Crucible and Destiny 2, I've played enough of that, and I've been teabagged enough to know that that's still real. I mean, teabagging is like, I mean, like you said, I mean, it predates mankind. It's like a reflex. I feel like even like kids who are probably playing like their first shooter, like reflexively, they just go like, Like they know. It's like when you pick up a pair of like barbecue tongs and you go like click click with it just to,
exactly
to make sure they work. I think I do that every time I like spawn into a game. I like hit the buttons a couple times just to make sure everything's good. It's like that. It's like, oh, better make sure these work real quick, like before we pick up the meat. Yeah, no, I think. I mean, teabagging is a tradition unlike any other. I mean, if you're gonna take that away, I mean, just make them play blindfolded, because if you want to change the game that much, I mean, you might as well just not stop there.
Right? That's changing the whole game. Give me teabags or give me death. I won't play video games if you take out the crouching mechanic, because what's the fun? I'm just gonna end up jumping up and down on you.
Can someone isolate that clip of Chris saying, "Give me teabags or give me death"?
Yes, please do that.
Please.
Fine, give me teabags or give me death. I'll say it again for you. But come on, man. It's so hot. Like, I got teabagged in Apex today, and I laughed. Granted, did it piss me off? Did I punch my desk? Yes, but it's the name of the game. And honestly, I'm amazed it still exists in like modern games. Like, I got teabagged in Modern Warfare a couple weeks ago, and it was a breath of fresh air. I've never felt better about it. I think I was like, wow, like competitive gaming still exists. For this pussy to be like teabagging should be a punishable offense, that guy should be isolated on an island, not allowed to speak to humans ever again. That guy is dirt. Bob, what do you think about the whole thing?
I mean, Counter-Strike has tried to do something to reduce it.
Yeah, like buffers in between crouches, right?
Yeah, like if you start spamming crouch, it starts slowing you down. So, which I personally think is worse. You're slowly dropping your nutsack on top of their head.
Ever so slowly.
Instead of like frantically doing it, you're slowly going down onto their corpse.
It gives you an option. But I think that's more like trying to make things realistic, because in real life, you can't just like crouch up and down a million times without getting tired.
I'm sure plenty of people can.
We can't. If I tried to crouch and get up 5 times in a row, like I easily did in Halo, I would pop a kneecap.
No, I already pulled something in my thighs when I tried demonstrating. Yeah, I don't know. It's one of the most ridiculous things anybody. It's one of those tweets where the guy is doing it just to piss people off and just to get fucking ratioed with. He probably has like 2,000 comments and like 17 people liked it. I promise you that's what the guy got ratioed. I'm telling you. There's no way people agree with this. It's common nature. It's almost instinctive. Like you guys were saying, it happens and you instinctively press the button. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's ingrained into all of them.
I won't let it happen over my dead body, like with the pussification of America, where like people get participation trophies and stuff like that, and everyone shakes hands during the game and there's no competitive spirit. Kill me if teabagging goes away. That's the only thing I have left to show dominance on someone.
The worst part about it is the guy tries to make himself sound intellectual by comparing it to you can't even call it a traditional sport, because the UFC is a non-traditional sport. It's relatively new compared to everything else.
You responded to this.
Who?
You responded to the tweet saying, I'm just here for the ratio.
Oh, there you go. I don't even remember this. That's why. What is it? How many comments and how many likes?
It was 39 retweets, and so 39 retweets and 625 likes.
How many comments?
It doesn't show, but I'm scrolling and I'm scrolling and I'm scrolling.
Oh, when you said 32, when you said 30 or 39 retweets, I already know it was going to be like in the hundreds for likes, and then there's probably 1,000 comments. Can you link me this? Can you link it on the Discord chat so I can see it?
So the biggest issue, look, if you can have this opinion, that's fine. You could think that this is something that needs to be taken out of games. You're wrong, but you can have that opinion. The problem is when he's trying to be intellectual and he's trying to make the comparison to traditional sports. The UFC, there's so much fucking shit that goes on after a match ends that shouldn't happen. There should be a celebratory moment at the end, but you can't have somebody doing fucking backflips over the person they just drop kicked and knocked out.
Dude, when McGregor fought Khabib, their boys jumped into the ring and started fighting.
Yeah, and I mean, they both got fined for that, and I'm pretty sure Khabib got suspended for a little bit. But it's one thing that you can't regulate. What should be regulated is every time I watch this fucking professional Call of Duty league that goes on, it's always the fucking sweaty people, they get a kill or they win a round, and then they stand up and start screaming at the people to their 15 feet to their fucking right. That's something that should be monitored.
Not monitored, but not taken away.
No, like if you have somebody, you get 3. You get 3 per fucking matchup, okay? And you better make those 3 fucking count. And then once you surpass that, then you get fined. I think that's the most ridiculous thing. Like you see it sometimes in Counter-Strike, but it's never that ridiculous because they do it smart where they separate both of the teams at a far enough distance that if they stand up and start yelling, it's not they can't immediately just start throwing fucking punches.
No, but there's a difference between being passionate and showboating. Teabag, that's showboating. Like, I just fucking worked you, and now I'm going to honey dip you. But with yelling, you see it at the end of matches after like a big search and destroy match or after a big game 5 or whatever it is. They stand up and they fucking explode because that is their traditional sport. That's what they work day in and day out to play. It's just like when someone wins a big game or hits a big shot in basketball, they blow up. It's second nature. You're not thinking like, okay, if I hit the shot, I have to go nuts. It just takes over your body and you just go for it. Ridiculous.
I hate the fact that he uses the word decorum.
Oh god.
Yeah. Shut up, you fucking pompous idiot.
I just want to chime in real quick and say that I had to just Google this real quick, but yes, they did optimize the teabagging physics in Halo 3, so that when you made contact with the head of the person when you go down for the crouch, their head does kind of snap back a little bit, and then when you stood up from the teabag, it kind of partially lifts up their dead body a little bit, so it's almost like they get kind of stuck between your thighs. It's great. It's great. But yeah, fuck this dude. I mean, dude, get off your fucking high horse. I mean, so I'm a big, like, let people enjoy things guy. You know what I mean? Like, by all means, like, if that's the way you want to play video games, if that's the way you want to watch video games, fucking, I guess, go for it. But, teabagging has absolutely nothing to do with sportsmanship. It has absolutely nothing to do with respect or decorum or behavior with a fucking U in there. It just, like... This has absolutely fucking nothing to do with that. It's like it's a little chirp. It's like a chirp. It's like you're watching the NFL and a quarterback gets sacked and he like taps the like defensive lineman on the ass, like good tackle. Like, as far as I'm concerned, it goes like that. I mean, it's not like this dude is yelling like you guys were saying. He's not screaming obscenities at the top of his lungs. He's hitting them with a little like boop boop, like, yeah, I'm here and I'm gonna be in your face all game. Literally. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing wrong with a little chirp, little chippiness. It has nothing to do with decorum or being taken seriously. If anything, I would take it less seriously if an esports league said no teabagging. You get fined $25,000 if you teabag somebody.
Dude, imagine if they did that. Imagine like the biggest like douche. I don't even know if they really exist, but like the captain of the team, right? Where like it's game 5 in a really serious match, and he knows that he's gonna get fined, but he also knows he's winning a couple $100,000. He goes over to the body at the end. The crowd's going, oh, and he just dips it on him. It's like when Mark Cuban, he was like, oh, the reporter was like, you just got fined $400,000 for saying fuck on air. He was like, if I say it again, does it go up to 500? She was like, yeah. And he goes, all right, fuck it. like that would be sick.
Yeah. So Adam Apicella replies to this and says, hard disagree. It's already too sterile and safe. We need more personality, more rivalry, and more intensity. And I completely agree. We've been saying this since episode 1 of the show. Is the rivalry, the intensity, the storylines, that like chippiness, that competitive aspect, that like intensity is exactly what people want out of esports. It's like those storylines. Bob's telling me about like these underdog storylines in CSGO. I don't even watch Counter-Strike. I don't even know what I'm looking at when I watch it, but I already know that I'm ready to run through every fucking wall in my house.
I'll get to that during the land the train.
Yeah, but like that type of stuff is what makes you watch. And granted, when we were at DreamHack and what's his name was like threatening to beat up the kid. Like, would you rather that or would you rather somebody get teabagged?
Yeah, it was KNG, I think.
Yeah,
it
KNG. He's threatening to beat the shit out of the person. He's threatening to stab him. So what do you? So you make what has less decorum? Threatening to stab somebody, or maybe a nice little friendly teabag?
And the crowd goes nuts every time it happens. I mean, you want to get the crowd like going, you teabag someone. I was watching it. I'm not even going to try to drop the teams, but during the CDL London this past week, it happened, and that's kind of like something that spun off of it. The crowd exploded. The guy's he was like at some flag during domination. He chased him into the corner after he killed him, dipped it low on him, and the crowd blew up. There were fucking beach balls coming out. People had air horns, fucking pop strings, whatever they're called. It was crazy. It gets a crowd on your side. It's like a fight in the NHL.
So yeah. I posted in our Twitch chat the video of Hingle McCringleberry's excessive celebrations from Key and Peele.
Yeah, when he's like, it's like 2.5, like. Oh my god, dude! I mean, this whole thing is just. Oh, by the way, in case you wanted to know the full ratio, 39 retweets, 625 likes, 1.2, 1,200 comments.
Yeah. Oh my god!
Told you, I'm here for the ratio. I forgot I even tweeted. Here for the ratio.
He's like, wow, people are really willing to die on this hill, but it's like, no, dude, you're the one that's quoting every rule book in major sports about respect and shit like that. But the reality of the situation is that this has absolutely nothing to do with professionalism. You can still be a professional and be a respected athlete and be a shit talker. Like Larry Bird is one of the most prominent shit talkers in the NBA. Kevin Garnett, one of the most notorious shit talkers in the NBA. The cerebral aspect of their game is what made them legendary. You would look at Larry Bird, who's this fucking 6'7" hick from Indiana, and you'd think this guy doesn't have any shit talking in him either. Then he shows up to the 3-point contest, keeps his shooting jacket on, and says, "I'm just here to see who plays for second." And wets everything and wins the 3-point contest. Kevin Garnett was saying the most vulgar things known to man, never got a single fine for it, and is one of the most dominant cerebral players in the history of the National Basketball Association. What the fuck?
His jersey went up in the rafters tonight.
Yeah, number 5 getting retired by the Celtics. Partially for that reason. That's why he was the big ticket. That's why he wasn't just another big guy. He was the big ticket. He was a fucking legend because of what he did to people's brains. He turned people's brains to mush on the court, and they would, you know what? He would get a little dap on the sideline, and that was that. And you mean to tell me that stuff is not, that aspect of that game is not the same amount of like cerebral, like intense, like chippiness as teabagging is? Because
it's literally a part of the game.
Yeah, but like all these people, like we do it too. You want to compare esports to traditional sports? It's part of the game, baby.
Part of the game.
Yes,
it's part of the game. It's part of every single game. Look at when you take UFC for instance. Look at what they do with the fucking weigh-ins. Yeah. They get in each other's fucking faces. Sometimes they throw punches at each other. Yeah. That's professionalism and decorum. Non-professional behavior with a U.
Behavior.
That's behavior with a U.
Bonjour.
Right? So stop making those fucking connections that you can't disregard one over the other. If you want to make that connection, you then need to defend that point.
I wish my monitor wasn't like mounted to my desk because I would put it on the ground and teabag it right now just as a sign of solidarity. Like
TOS.
I'm gonna. Yeah, actually. Yeah, that's probably true. No TOS for lack of decorum. Yeah, I mean, I could not disagree with this more, and I think that if anybody is like the fact that this guy is posting PDFs of rule books means like that shows me that he's never watched any of these sports. I mean, you've clearly never watched anything.
No, I was listening. You know what it is? You know what it is? He probably weighs 115 pounds. He's probably like 5'11", 115 pounds, pasty white. Barely gets outside, and he was sitting there, and he's like, "How can I piss people off on Twitter today?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
teabagging.
You know what it was?
Let's attack teabagging.
You know what it definitely is too is that dude definitely got teabagged in a game. He was probably playing Overwatch before he was watching Overwatch League. Like he sits down, he was sitting down. He's like, you know what? Let me squeeze a couple games of ranked in before we watch OWL, and he gets teabagged in one game, and he's just infuriated. And then the teabagging that happens in the game, dude. Give me a fucking break. Not only is teabagging a historical part of gaming, it is also cross-cultural. It is a thing that is widely understood, whether players are from China, Korea, the UK, from Europe, from America. Teabagging is a universal language, okay? That is a universal language.
It's it unifies the entire world in gaming.
We are the world. You know what I mean? Put on the "We Are the World" in the background. We talk about. Listen, teabagging is a universal language, and it's like, listen, you're not standing up from your desk and saying that you're gonna kill somebody. You give them a little teabag, and it's like, all right, I got you.
Wait, no, Chris might.
Chris might do that. K&G might do that, but you give them a little teabag, and it's like, I got you, bitch. Like, make sure you get me first next time, and then you give them a little teabag back, and you know that it's on. Teabagging somebody back after they kill you first is is so satisfying because it's like, okay.
Like handshake.
Let me give you an example from yesterday. Big Tasty and I dueled in Quake. For some reason, he thinks he can still beat me. He got the first kill on me, and he teabagged me. Just stood there, teabagging me until my body disappeared. Right.
Respect.
I killed him 9 times in a row after that. Teabagged him every single time.
Yeah, but it was like a handshake.
The point. No, it wasn't a handshake. That was me proving a fucking point.
Yeah, it's kind of like a handshake.
That was me saying, "Fuck you! Don't ever fucking teabag me again, bitch."
I got a T-shirt idea.
Was like, oh yeah.
Oh god.
I'm thinking a T-shirt. So you know, like the Lipton tea boxes. I think we like flip the Lipton logo so it says decorum, and then it's just a big ass teabag. And I mean, tell me you wouldn't. Tell me no. Who says no?
I'd buy that.
I mean, I'm just saying. All right. What we say? Final thoughts on it?
Teabags.
Teabags. Decorum.
If I kind of want to teabag him.
Behavior. Doesn't sound like very good behavior.
The color.
Ooh, color. Also, yes, Marcus Smart, big play. Celtics up 103-95. 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter against the Clippers. So, all right, let's land the train. All right. I want to hear it. Tell me something good, Chris.
Tell me something good. Let me see if we have any 5-star reviews. Wow, imagine we didn't get any 5-star reviews.
What?
I'm sick to my stomach.
That can't be right.
I'm appalled. I mean, it doesn't show it. Wow, I am sick. But I guess if you want to be read next week on the Land the Train segment from yours truly, leave a 5-star reviews for Not Another Gaming Podcast on Apple Podcasts. But I guess I can't read anything, so I have nothing, unfortunately.
That saddens and nauseates me. Bob, what do you got?
So, last week I did this thing during my weekend recap where I went over what I watched for Counter-Strike. I specifically saved it for the shout out, the WGG send it. So I didn't bring up the Counter-Strike, coverage I did over the weekend. But you can watch the video at youtube.com/Wicked Gaming. I did another in-depth video covering Blast Premier Group Stage B. I also have an article up at wickedgaming.com. It has both, written content and video content in there if you want to take a look. But to talk about what happened over the weekend, a little team called Complexity came out of nowhere, founded by Jason Lake, brand new roster. They got a bunch of young talent in, bunch of new people in the scene, a couple of veterans like Rush, who won a major with Cloud9. I think it was the Boston major, actually, with Cloud9. They got Config, who's a mechanical genius. They have Blame F, who is a brilliant in-game leader. They have a 17-year-old named Obo, who is he has potential to be one of the best aimers of all time. And they have an incredible young op talent in Poison. So this team came out of nowhere. They were ranked 28th in the world. They performed very poorly online, but this was their first real offline LAN tournament that they played in. And Blast Premier is a pretty big league that's going on right now. And it was the most stacked group stage. It was Complexity ranked at 28th, Vitality ranked at 8th, I think. Not as Vincea ranked at 6th, and Astralis ranked at 1 overall. So everybody wrote off Complexity as the dark horse. They're sacrificed. They went up against Astralis, the number 1 team in the world. They're gonna get spanked. There's no way they can beat them. Complexity comes out and 2-0 is the number one team in the world out of fucking nowhere, out of left field. Relatively no-name team comes out and beats the number one team in the world. It must be a fluke. There's no way that it was Astralis has ring rust. They perform poorly. There's no way Complexity can do this again. Day 2, Complexity 2-0's Vitality, the number 8 team in the world. It can't be. They can't do this. They secured their spot in the finals. They secured their spot in the spring tournament. They went on to play Navi, but Navi came back. Navi got knocked down into the lower bracket first by Vitality, their rival that people consider. And then Navi came back with two of the best players in the world, Simple and Electronic, and they started smoking everybody that they played. They beat Astralis 2-1, eliminated Astralis. They beat Vitality 2-1, eliminated Vitality. Go on to the final, and they 2-0 Complexity, the red-hot team that came out of nowhere. What Complexity did over this weekend is historical in Counter-Strike. It's something that's never been done before. It's a team that came out of nowhere and dethroned in a tournament the number one ranked team from the previous year. Granted, Astralis came out super loose. They had severe ring rust. They had like 2 months off from an actual LAN tournament. But Complexity proved the point. There was a meme going around that Complexity was the juggernaut. They fucking proved that point this weekend. So I want to give a big shout out to Complexity Gaming. They didn't win the tournament, but they secured their spot in the Spring Blast Premier tournament.
And also in our hearts.
Yeah. Oh my God. I was saying this last year. This is one of the main reasons why Chris convinced me to get a new Twitter, because I've been saying it every time I watch these young players in like B and C tier teams, like Poison. I said this a year ago. I watched Poison and I said, he is the only person worth watching on this Wendigo team. This kid's going to be a fucking superstar if they ever give him a chance. They put him on Complexity, and he out-opt 2 out of the 3 best fucking oppers on the planet. He out-opt Device when they played in the first matchup. He out-opt Zywoo when they played him in the second matchup. And he competed with Simple, but Simple was just playing at his absolute peak, and it was fucking insane to watch. So shout out to Complexity for making a fucking name for themselves this weekend. And shout out to Jason Lake, because I sent you guys that video. He's the founder and I believe the CEO of Complexity Gaming. And he's interviewing with people after day 1. And he says, it was something along the lines of, they asked who was here cheering for Complexity, and there was one person in the stands with a Complexity jersey on. And he brought that fan over to sit next to him while they watch Complexity, the rank 28 team, spank the fucking rank 1 team.
Unreal.
And he said, if there's only one fan in the crowd that's cheering for us, that's all I need. And I was sitting there tearing up at my fucking desk.
Yep. He was like, where's the, he said, where's the Complexity fans? And one dude raised his hand, and he was like, he sat right next to him. And as long as there's one person there, then like that's why it's all worth it. And that shit. And you know what? You motherfucking just made a handful more.
It was fucking beautiful. I was actually watching Complexity today before I left. They were in the ESL 1 Rio qualifiers, I think. And I don't remember if they won. When I left work, they lost the first match. But I'll double check. But anyway, that's my Counter-Strike recap. I'm going to probably try to do it again next week if I can remember. But I saved it for this segment because shout out to Complexity and shout out to Jason Lake. You guys got 3 new fucking fans.
That's a fact. That's a fact. All right. For me, big shout out to the Wicked Good Gaming store. Because we got some new merch up, and we're not going to stop here. We got a couple other shirts that I think I'm going to throw up before PAX East 2020, so if you go into the show, you're trying to get fresh, or maybe, listen, I mean, I know it's a little too late for Valentine's Day this year, but if you want to get some nice new sexy threads for your next hot date, wickedgoodgaming.com/shop has you covered, literally, physically, and everything else. The brand new Party Daddies shirt is now live on the shop. So make sure you go check that out. There's going to be a lot more stuff coming soon. I have another design, one in the chamber already, and possibly one more. So stay tuned for that. Party Daddies is live right now. There's tons of other great merch up there, and I'm pretty sure it's free shipping if it's over $45. So if you want to get 1 or 2, get one for your girl, get one for your dog, get one for your baby. There's plenty of stuff on there. There's hoodies, shirts, all genders, all sizes, all that shit. So yeah. So that is all we got. This has been episode 167 of Not Another Gaming Podcast. We are going to be at PAX East 2020 in just a couple weeks, so you can catch up with all the beautiful content before then. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Overcast, Radio.com, and iHeartRadio. You can see us live every single Thursday. You steal your significant other's Amazon Prime. Subscribe to us on Twitch. It's absolutely free. You support your boys. You make us smile. And, it's everybody wins. And also, we're going to be putting the full parameters of Dr. Bob and I's bet in the Discord for all to see as well, so that we have everything completely nailed down, and we'll see the result of that. That's still a few weeks away, but I'm looking forward to the content there. But so other than that, this has been episode 167 of Not Another Gaming Podcast. Hope you have a great Valentine's Day. Hope we were able to keep you company, just in case nobody else was, because we love you, and we'll see you next week.